Okay, we're gonna install a storm door. What you're gonna need is that box that was wrapped to your door frame. You also have that bag of screws. This is what we're gonna use first. So before I set my door in, there's these little clips here. So I just back them off. I don't take them out right. Just enough so it's just hanging on. And the next step is you have a door sweep. Just pull it off. So I'm gonna set my door in. Now that my door's in, I always pin the hinge side first. These doors, you might need to adjust it here and there. Take your time, be patient. The punches are gonna be a little bit out, so you might need to re-drill on these. I got enough on this side for now, so I'm gonna work on this side. So I just wanna check my gaps on this side, and we're looking pretty good here. Now that I got this side pinned, I'm gonna undo my clips. Unscrew this part. Put that screw back in. Now just make sure my door's closing properly. It's looking good. Now on these doors, I like to keep a little bit of a gap at this top peak because over time these doors do sag, just like anything else. Okay, we're gonna put the sweep on. The holes go onto the inside, and that's where you can attach it. You don't have to attach it. On my greenhouse, personally, I don't, because I can pull it off, clean it out, put it back in. The one thing though, on the hinge side, there's a little tab right about here. There is where I knock out. Try closing my door. There we go. Okay, now we're gonna put the handle together. So we're gonna keep that cleat off to the side. You're gonna want this package. There's a spring in here, so you don't want it flying out on you. So the parts that we're gonna use are the keys, the spring, the latch, the keyhole, and those screws, and this. Just keep those off to the side. The screws we don't use. So first thing I'm gonna do is grab my handle, drop the push knob through. There we go. Now on here, you'll see that there's a flat end, and I got the flat end at the top there. Just spin it halfway, then it won't come out. Then I take this part, put it in there. Then I take my spring, pop it there. Drop my screws through. Make sure you grab your Phillips head, and then we're gonna work our way to the door. The handle and the key obviously go on the outside, and it goes through this middle hole here. Be very careful that you don't drop this pin into your door, because then you gotta pull your door apart. Line that up and hold it. I'll move it over here now so you can kind of see what I do. So I'm gonna pull this gently back, feed my top screw through, and just sort of hand tighten it so it threads. Grab your screw, give it a few turns, then do the same on the bottom. Now that they're in, tighten her up. Now you don't want to go super tight on this, otherwise the spring won't work, but you want it fairly snug. I judge it, if you can wiggle it, oop, see, there we are. So if you can wiggle it, then you got to tighten it up more. It's fairly snug. Next thing you do is try your lock. Pull the key out, make sure this doesn't pop out. Success. Okay, now we're going to put the latching mechanism on. So I get my 1/2-inch bolts, drop them in, loosely thread them on. I just line it up with my latch. So I start by having it tight, as close to the handle as possible. You might have to adjust accordingly, but this is just sort of a starting point. Then I take this, my 1/2-inch tech screws, and I screw it in. So my starting point is as far back as I can. Okay, now that's in, I'm gonna try the door out. And that's a tight fitting door. We're not quite there, so I can adjust this just to center it. So one thing, this one's fitting very tight. No rattling in the door, and that's kind of what you want. You want a snug fit. If you have a bit of rattle and you got wind, you might hear it at night rattling, so that's what I like.